tonight.
Love to see that. Ahead for you at 5 o'clock, another new assisted living facility being constructed in the Grand Strand.
Where it'll go and more on the plans developers have for it.
Plus, from the U.S. Secretary of Education to Vice President Mike Pence, South Carolina receiving visits from multiple politicians today.
More on their tours from around South Carolina.
You've heard about EPA changes. Now we're telling you how they can impact our area. WNBF News at 5 starts right now.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WNBF News at 5.
Thanks for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Meredith Heeline.
Good evening to you. I'm Eric Weisfeld. Let's begin tonight with a bird's eye view over downtown Florence. A previously soggy day turning into a clear, warm, look at that, a beautiful evening.
Oh my gosh, so pretty out there, and soak it all up because we're looking ahead to another rainy commute tomorrow morning. Meteorologist Robert Whitehurst here now with the first alert to more wet weather.
Yeah, exactly what we wanted to hear, right? And colder temperatures tomorrow, so there's not really any good news there. Although we do warm up again once we head into the weekend. You still have a couple hours tonight, though. Notice this kind of corridor here of very warm temperatures for this time of the year. 79 in Conway. It's a little cooler right along the Grand Strand. We've had a bit of sea fog today, although a lot of that is cleared out. And it's a bit cooler inland west of Interstate 95. If you're in between 95 and let's call it the waterway, you're well into the 70s. Our average high this time of the year, 58 degrees. So we'll take it. Tomorrow, though, the colder air starts to move back in. We'll start the morning off with those 50s around, and that's kind of where we hover through the day. In fact, we start to drop a bit as we make our way into the afternoon. We talked about the rain chances. Unfortunately, the clouds filter back in here over the next few hours. We bring the showers in here by 4 to 5 a.m., and they're kind of on and off through the first part of the day. Now, they begin to clear out through the afternoon, but more clouds through the weekend, but a bit of a warming trend. I'll have that weekend forecast. Look at the returns, more 70s. That's here in a few more minutes.
Proposed Environmental Protection Agency changes from the Trump administration could impact our area.
And environmentalists are worried changes could make it easier for coal ash to get into our waterways.
WNBF News reporter Aaron Edwards joins us live now with the latest on this issue. Tell us more, Aaron.
Eric and Meredith, the Clean Water Act monitors pollution being dumped into our waterways and our wetlands. Environmentalists are concerned that if we don't have that kind of protection, harmful toxins could make their way into our wetlands and waterways like coal ash. Under these proposed changes, lakes, ponds, and most rivers would still be covered, but the administration wants to stop monitoring thousands of small streams, wetlands, and drainage ditches. Right now, the Clean Water Act protects from pollutions being discharged in the waterways, and if you go over those levels, there are fines and repercussions. Southern environmentalists say the Clean Water Rule protects waterways from coal ash discharge. Without this protection, coal ash could be discharged in some rivers without consequences.
The Myrtle Beach area, Conway, and the good work of Santee Cooper are Exhibit 1 that we need these minimum national protections, and we need other utilities to clean up their sites so communities and rivers will be protected the same way Conway was protected and the Waccamaw and Winyah Bay were protected last September.
Right. Now, the acting EPA director says that these regulations do more to frustrate than they do to help our environment. Hear from local leaders coming up on WNBF News at 6. Reporting live in Horry County, Aaron Edwards, WNBF News.
We have an update now to breaking news we first brought you last night at 7 o'clock. The heavy police presence near the Island Green Country Club in Horry County caused by a man barricaded inside a home. Officials say they were trying to execute a mental health pickup on Lily Nas Lane, but say the man became uncooperative, locked himself inside the residence. Additional officers then arrived on the scene, saw that man open a rear sliding door holding knives. However, the situation was resolved without incident. That was a little after 9 o'clock last night, and we're told that man was not arrested.
The Palmetto State, very popular today for visits from politicians.
Yeah, U.S. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos made stops in the PD.
Vice President Mike Pence, along with Senator Tim Scott in Columbia.
And in Charleston, Representative Joe Cunningham and Joe Clyburn.
We have the purpose of their visits just moments away.
First, though, I got a chance to sit down with Representative Tom Rice today in our studio to speak with him about the latest hot topics. One of them is a story we brought you just yesterday. No way around it. Horry County is growing. In fact, as we reported yesterday, some 275,000 additional people are expected to call our area home by 2040. The question is, are we able to handle the growth? 7th District Congressman Tom Rice says, without a doubt, I asked him how he thinks we'll adjust to accommodate the change. Rice says it's important to remember that even though Myrtle Beach has a population of roughly 33,000, you need to plan for 300,000 due to all the tourists. He says that's where the money generated from those tourists should factor in.
You got to use that flow of tourism dollars in some way to support the needs of these tourists. I mean, which
is why they're coming.
Yeah, exactly, and so it creates unique problems, and that's, you know, where we are has evolved. And is it perfect? No, but is it working? Yes. And infrastructure is growing, and we have a very bright future.
Congressman Rice also discussing his idea for a border wall and rebounding from hurricane devastation. He's also tackling some of the questions you sent in. Here is what he thinks about I-73 as well. It's all coming up for you on WNBF News at 6 o'clock.
Hours after our interview with Rice, he joined U.S. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos and the PD. They joined State Superintendent Molly Spearman and other leaders to tour schools there and see how the institutions are rethinking education. The districts highlighted their STEM labs and iFly drone program for high school students. DeVos says she applauds South Carolina for offering students a wide range of pathways. And at the federal level, DeVos says they continue to pursue policies that allow states to tailor opportunities to student and industry needs.
Vice President Mike Pence visiting a Midlands church and movie theater today.
State House reporter Jason Raven is outside the Meeting Place Church in northeast Richland County, live with more on today's visit.
Senator Tim Scott invited the vice president to tour the area today, and this is one of the first established opportunity zones in the country. And opportunity zones were created to incentivize developers for investing in areas that have been overlooked in the past. The initiative was created in the 2017 Republican tax cut, and these developers are giving a federal tax incentive to come and build in these areas, just like this one in Richland County. Now, Meeting Place Church opened its doors here not that long ago, and just this year they helped open up a new movie theater right next door for the community. Now, church leaders say Spotlight Cinemas Capital 8 offers affordable tickets for people in the community. Now, Senator Tim Scott played a huge role in creating the Opportunity Zones initiative.
The Opportunity Zones, to me, is that olive branch of hope. It's that notion that everyone in every place at any time should be blessed with opportunities.
And Governor Henry McMaster says eventually there will be 135 opportunity zones across the state of South Carolina. Live in Columbia, Jason Raven, back to you.
And in Charleston, Congressman Joe Cunningham and James Clyburn joining other leaders to support closing the Charleston loophole. That loophole allowed Dylan Roof to buy the gun he used to kill 9 worshipers at Mother Emanuel Church in 2015. A bipartisan bill would change the protocol of a 3-day time frame for a background check to purchase a gun to 10 days. Allowing the government more time to make sure a gun does not get into the wrong hands. There have been similar bills brought to the State House and denied. You'll hear from Cunningham and Clyburn coming up on WNBF News at 6. New assisted living facility will open in just over a year in Grand Dunes.
But the city of Myrtle Beach is already working out the details for the project's second phase. WNBF News reporter Marissa Tansino spoke with the company spearheading this project.
Plans for phase 2 of the project are set up right here behind me, and the director for the project tells me it'll focus on independent living for adults that are active on their own.
So we'll be breaking ground in April on our second phase, which is 134 apartments of independent living with 16 cottages of independent living.
Phase 1 of the Portside at Grand Dunes Senior Living Facility is good to go with tenants already moving in, but the Community Appearance Board heard the plans for phase 2 today.
The amenity package is much more robust. It has an outdoor heated pool, zero-entry pool, outdoor yoga lawn spaces, outdoor picnicking and grilling.
Phase 2 slated to be more suitable for the older community who want to downsize but can still live on their own in an area that's still growing.
It allows us to be more involved in the community, for our residents to be more active and have lifestyle options around the community as well. They can be more in the community rather than tucked away. You know, it's a great time in your life. You need to enjoy it and get out.
Black says his team also found comfort and convenience being right next to healthcare facilities like Grand Strand Medical Center. The Community Appearance Board voted to approve the final review for phase 2 of the building and landscape plans. Black says they'll be back in a couple of weeks to present plans for lighting and signage. And the entire project is slated to be complete in the summer of 2020. In Myrtle Beach, Marissa Tansino, WNBF News.
I was going to check out the evening commute. Do have an accident on Highway 501 pretty close to Carolina Forest Boulevard. It's moving towards the Grand Strand, so away from Conway. Had a lane block there, but a live look there at that intersection. It's back open, just running pretty slow right now. Again, that is just past Carolina Forest Boulevard as you're headed back towards the Grand Strand. And you can see it's only running about 4 miles per hour right now, taking you 33 minutes to go 2.5 miles through there. So it is slow going. And an issue for tomorrow. The rain's back. Could see some wet roadways as you kick off Friday morning. Have a look at those rain chances. That's coming up in my First Alert forecast.
It's become clear to me that the public's confidence in the 9th District seat general election has been undermined to an extent.
The announcement Republican Mark Harris made right after that North Carolina's Board of Elections shockingly agreed to coverage of Day 4 of the state's 9th Congressional District investigation hearing. Just ahead in 3 minutes.
A dramatic development in a North Carolina courthouse today.
The state's Board of Elections voting to approve a new election for the 9th Congressional District.
Now, this vote comes after the Republican candidate Mark Harris, who was seeking certification, reversed course and called for a new vote.
Dan Sheneman reports.
So help me God.
A stunning turn of events before the North Carolina State Board of Elections, looking into voter irregularities that has left a U.S. House seat vacant.
I believe a new election should be called.
After testifying for several hours, Republican candidate Mark Harris, who held a 905-vote lead over Democrat Dan McCready, called for a new election.
It's become clear to me that the public's confidence in the 9th District seat general election has been undermined to an extent that a new election is warranted.
With that, the 5-member panel voted to approve a new election.
Say aye.
Aye.
I believe it's a unanimous vote.
The dramatic development coming on day 4 of the hearing before the board weighing whether to certify the November results or order a new election. During the surprise statement, Harris told the panel he had mistakenly given inaccurate testimony due to memory problems resulting from 2 strokes he suffered last month while being hospitalized. The election challenges the result of irregularities involving absentee ballots that favored Harris. Witnesses previously testified political operative McCrae Dowless, hired by Harris, ran an operation which paid people to illegally collect absentee ballots from voters. Harris, who has denied knowing anything illegal was taking place, now joining his Democratic opponent, supporting a new election. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Now, WNBF News First Alert meteorologist Robert Whitehurst.
Temperatures approaching 80 in a few spots today. Actually had some 80s down towards Georgetown County. Unfortunately, it doesn't continue. Clouds filtering back in, colder temperatures return as we head into Friday. It kind of start the morning off pretty mild to start the day, but instead of climbing, the temperatures kind of hold stationary and then actually start to fall a little bit as we head through the afternoon and evening. Notice by 7 o'clock down into the 40s and lower 50s, so about 20 degrees colder in a few spots tomorrow. A pretty big swing there. We will start to warm up again this weekend, but it's going to take a couple more days. It's Sunday where we bring the 70s back, but notice even Saturday, we're beginning to see the temperatures climb a little bit more. There's still a ton of clouds around through the weekend, 1 or 2 showers, although the best chance of rain the next couple of days will be tomorrow morning. Not across the PD. Temperatures a little slower to climb out towards Florence. On Saturday, still 55, but by Sunday, nice little swing in temperatures there. The 70s return for everybody by Sunday afternoon. Let's talk about the rain for tomorrow because it's back. Starting 4 to 5 a.m., expecting the coverage of the rain to increase. Some showers, a couple downpours around. The best chance of rain on Friday is mainly before lunchtime. As we head through the afternoon, we should begin to clear out a lot of that rain, although there's still a lot of clouds. Still a couple small showers, but the more widespread rain earlier in the day. And then we keep those clouds going into Saturday. You'll notice there's not a ton of green on here, so rain chances through Saturday pretty low. But at times you could see 1 or 2 small showers, and again, very few breaks in the clouds. And the up and down trend with the temperatures. We get the 70s back in here later this weekend, but that doesn't continue. Already looking at another drop. Temperatures falling back down into the upper 50s and lower 60s for early next week.
Authorities say he missed striking her but hit a glass in her hand. The incident required stitches. Plus, he was supposed to do work on the victim's home, and now he stands accused of pulling out a gun and threatening that homeowner's life. Horry County Police are looking for 2 suspects. Let's begin with Richard Thomas Sterling. Police say they responded to Grand Strand Hospital February 3rd regarding an assault. The victim says she and Sterling got into an argument when the suspect attempted to hit her but struck the glass in her hand instead. That victim had to go to the hospital to receive stitches. The victim says the entire altercation happened in front of her 2-year-old son. Sterling is charged with domestic violence in the 2nd degree. He's 31 years old with the last known address of 9th Avenue in Myrtle Beach. And police are also looking for Juventino Plaza Arias. Authorities say the 48-year-old went to the victim's Conway home January 31st to help paint the house. The 2 made a trip to Lowe's to look for that paint. When they got back to the home, they were discussing possible cabinet work when the victim says Arias started shaking her and yelling that he was going to kill her. A second victim says Arias grabbed him by the shirt, forced him into the backyard, then pulled out a handgun. He says Arias forced him to his knees, then pressed the barrel of that gun to his throat, making it tough to breathe. Arias threatened to kill that victim as well. And that victim says another worker told Arias to stop, and he did. Once the police were called, Arias left the scene. He's charged with assault and battery in the 2nd degree. He has a last known address of Embassy Lane in Conway. For another look at these suspects, just log on to WNBFnews.com and click on the Crime tab.
An update now to the story of a dog found burned in Georgetown County. The Georgetown County Sheriff's Office investigators have opened an investigation into this case. We told you earlier this week the dog was found back on February 11th wandering through a woman's yard in Hemingway. Not only was the pup emaciated, he was also covered in burns, likely caused by chemicals poured on his head and on the side of his body. The dog, named Chester, is currently recovering at St. Francis Animal Shelter in Georgetown. If you have any information on who may have injured this dog, you are asked to call the number you see here on your screen. That's the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office. And looking ahead, if you're in Chesterfield County, DNR will be conducting controlled burns in the coming weeks. Those operations will happen on McBee, Campbell's Crossroads, and Angeles Wildlife Management areas. But only portions of the area will be burned, and it'll only happen during the daytime hours. We're told some roads may be impacted for short periods of time.
Also in Chesterfield County, sheriff's deputies had to use tasers on 2 students after several fights broke out at Sherall High School yesterday. It's caused quite the stir online, and Gray TV's Christy O'Connor spoke with those involved.
It's still unclear why these fights started, but it's how they ended that has many in the community talking. 2 students were tased, and all 5 students involved are now facing charges. Video of one of the fights between 2 girls circulated online. Toward the end of the video, you can see a red light from the officer's taser reflecting on them. Corrine Smith is the mother of one student involved in the fights who was tased. Her daughter is now on a 10-day suspension. She's not angry over the fight, but rather how it ended.
It's not even really about the fight. It's about an officer tasing a 105-pound girl when all he had to do was break it up.
Chesterfield County Sheriff J.D. Dixon says he stands by the officer's actions. He says the taser was never intended to hurt anyone. The school district is now shortening tomahawk time, which is when these fights happened. It's an extended lunch period that once was 65 minutes. It's now being shortened to 35 minutes.
WNBF News Investigates is helping you watch your wallet this tax season. Tackling your taxes can be intimidating, especially this year with sweeping changes. The greatest changes to the tax code in the last 3 decades will affect your 2018 returns. Our National Investigative Unit is getting you prepared through the help of NerdWallet.
Overall, tax rates have gone down, so many Americans may see a smaller tax bill this year. The catch with that is everybody's situation is different, so it's hard to generalize.
We'll help you navigate through your financial decisions on whether you should itemize or go with the standard deduction and much more. It's all coming up on WNBF News at 6 with Watching Your Wallet, Tackling Your Taxes.
And still ahead on WNBF News at 5, what's going on in Florence this weekend?
If you're looking for something fun to do, from sports to food, well, we have you covered. Keep it here.
That was nice. That was really nice.
Enjoy an informational breakfast, watch some of the best high school basketball players play ball, or visit the farmers market. I'm Hallie Moreau, and here's what's happening in Florence this SC weekend. The 2019 Legislative Breakfast is happening this Friday from 7:30 to 9 a.m. at the Florence Center. You'll hear from the Florence City Manager Drew Griffin. He'll address many topics ranging from roads, key projects to city water and sewer. A Q&A will happen after Drew's presentation. Tickets are $20 or $200 to reserve a table. You can register at flowchamber.com. The 2019 South Carolina High School League Lower State Basketball Tournament will take place at the Florence Center. Winners will advance to the state championships in Columbia. And visit downtown Florence each Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. to shop the City Center Farmers Market. The market features local farmers and artisans. They will provide a variety of fresh produce, meat, dairy, and bread. There will also be some craft vendors. For more information, you can visit facebook.com/City Center Farmers Market. These are all great ways to celebrate your SC Weekend in Florence. For more fun ideas, head to scweekend.com.
Well, beautiful weather tonight, but big changes tomorrow. Temperatures right now in the upper 60s along the Grand Strand, approaching 80 for a few spots near Conway and Aner, Florence County. It's not going to be 80 tomorrow. It's still sunny right now, but the clouds are back tomorrow morning. The showers are back tomorrow morning, and the temperatures are stuck in the upper 50s through most of the day, although some areas will likely see the temperatures drop as we head through the late afternoon. Cooler air starting to move in, and of course, it's just the beginning of the roller coaster ride that continues by Sunday. 72 degrees again. We'll drop on Monday and then hit 70 again next week. Our average high is 58. Wasn't it 58's in there? Even when we drop, it's still warm.
I wish we could just stretch out today, just every single day.
It was very
nice.
nice. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock. Inside Edition's next.